Where it doesn't become a Lumens fanboy thing. Oh, we're going live. All right, here we go.
Yeah,
I just figured nuts of this.
You're welcome, everybody. Welcome in. For those of you who are here. For
Yeah.
those of you who aren't, you're missing a hell of a lot.
Yeah, Jamie, I put that in the notes. We'll bring it up when we get to that. I think there are challenges with that line if that's what they're doing. And anytime I see a diagram like that that has multiple arrows all going the same, or all going different directions with just an arrow at both ends, it's not helping me.
That's
No, I agree. And that's why I asked them for, I want one of those. Mm-hmm. And I could give two craps about what all the other parts do. I just want what this part does.
Right. And then
I really don't care about the rest of it. And this part is doing exactly what I need it to do for now. Today. For the last 3 hours.
It'll do it once.
Still working?
Yeah.
Hey, it's got at least 24 hours of service on it.
On
Welcome
your
in, everybody.
network?
Get comfortable.
Or what network are you?
Oh, here. Let's put it
home
to a
network?
real test. I will use it as my primary camera. Hold on.
Oh, we're going to do it live. All right, you guys,
Oh,
welcome
here's a live
behind the
testing.
scenes, everybody.
There it is.
We're seeing it right now. I didn't even see a slip or hiccup.
changed.
Nothing changed.
Nothing changed.
No.
And if I click the little switcher thing,
Hold on. Oops. Oh, you got to do.
Well, that broke.
We're giving you some behind the scenes for those who are just.
and then I get a different camera.
We're doing some live testing for you all right now. This is a product that
That
Jamie's
camera
testing.
looks like crap.
Yeah, Jamie, you're not in high def or something. You're in like.
Is
You
Jamie
have-
ever in high def though?
You're in
Jamie's
Missouri
on
mode or
dial-up.
something. What's
He's
happening?
on dial-up.
He's getting dithering. So, all right. Well, has it just been running the entire time?
Since I plugged it in this morning. Yeah.
This morning.
This morning. It's been a couple
Fingers
hours.
crossed. All right, so are we can bring that up as a talking point, I guess.
It's there right now. They're live. What are we doing? Let's go.
Jamie's
Yeah,
big
for those of you watching live, this is how we organize the show. So
Yeah.
we're getting stuff set up. and we
Sneak
figured
peek
we'd
for
just
you
go
all.
live.
So yeah, we figured we talk about it enough, but might as well just show you.
Okay.
So anyway, all right. Well, welcome in everybody. Sit back, relax. We have a
I
hell of a
will
show
bring
for
up.
you.
I'll bring up that PDF then from Zoom for that's the news, right?
Are we going to do an intro since we're already in it? Can we just,
Yep, we're gonna do
hell
the whole
yeah.
thing. Justin, cool your jets.
This is just extra credit for
This
the
is
folks that are here
pre-show
early.
banter.
Yes,
Well,
Mark got
As people
real-time
have-
feedback from people that said more banter.
more
or I
banter. So this
refuse
is for
to
all you
listen.
folks that wanted more banter. You're welcome.
Okay. Let me close all these tabs.
you just missed all the good stuff, though, about 10 minutes ago.
I know. That's why I just gave up and
That's
clicked
why
live.
we're going to start going live more because the audience needs this hard-hitting, factual feedback.
Mark, for your discussion, I just have that capabilities doc. Is that all you need for that?
Sure.
Okay.
We're gonna do it
I don't know
live.
that's your segment. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh yeah, I'm going to drag you all through it.
Okay.
So
And I've got where's the Zoom thing? Oh, it's a PDF, which I can't view for some reason.
no, you can't.
What
All
is
right, you
wrong
ready?
with this Zoom email?
Let's go to the slate, Jamie. Let's go.
Fine, Jiminy, friggin' Christmas. This is AV SuperFriends Off the Rails, an almost regularly scheduled open discussion on audio and video in higher education. We'll sound off about our most brilliant ideas, our dumbest mistakes, and everything in between. And because this conversation will almost certainly go off the rails at some point, we'll end up covering just about everything else. And now, the AV SuperFriends. For February 21st, 2025, it's the best sounding podcast in higher ed. This is the AV SuperFriends Off the Rails, episode number 104.
Whoa.
Good gravy. Broadcasting live from coast to coast and everywhere in between, transmitting across time zones faster than crummy hotel Wi-Fi. From the back of the rack to the front of the house, I'm Chris Decter, pushing buttons, flipping switches, turning knobs, and you're tuned in for another Friday afternoon podcast adventure. Get through that one yet. But first, let's say hello to today's panel of august AV SuperFriends with this one.
Oh, man, my notes just crashed.
Well, you've got like 18 seconds. So first, let's welcome a director of corporate impact from Kansas City, Jamie Reinhardt.
Well, it's impactful today.
Better that than impacted. Also joined by a forward integration engineer from Corvallis, Oregon. Say hello to Mark Kolozinski.
Lean into this real forward. We're going forward with all of our builds from now on. We're not looking back,
Only
Chris.
forward, never backwards.
That's right.
Our networks only go forward.
We have one-way networks.
Unidirectional.
Yep.
Also joined by a senior markets manager from Greensboro, North Carolina, Mr. Larry Darling.
So I'm managing old grocery stores now?
Sure, only for seniors.
Yes.
Hey,
Seniors market.
so you're responsible for the banging soundtrack at the grocery store.
Like this one? Like the one
Like this
where
one. Very
It's
similar.
this one, yeah.
You want me to stop it?
Listening-
Hold on. I got this.
two right now.
It's very light.
Hold on. Give me a second.
I feel like I'm walking by some milk.
Would you like to go shopping in 1979? Because if so,
Kind of, I do.
let's
the food
see.
was better back then.
Now we're all out of sorts here, so
Was
go
it?
back to
No,
this.
we're not.
And finally, let's welcome our Vice President for Human Factors from Bowling Green, Kentucky, Mr. Justin Rex.
Oh, me. Yeah, we're breaking news. We're gonna factor in humans.
Okay.
There's no AI there.
We're actually gonna listen to what these humans say they need, and we're gonna listen and give them what they want for once.
For once, breaking.
For once, yeah. All right. Well, good.
So on
See how that
today's
goes.
show,
Yeah.
we're going to discuss prioritizing capabilities of our learning spaces, and Mark has an exercise which will all cost you money. So get ready.
Better get out at least $100.
Let's see. And we're going to talk about, what are we going to talk about here? Oh, we're going to talk about why we have challenges with putting PCs on the same network as our AV gear, and sometimes that's fine and sometimes it's not, and
It's
a
not
possible
fine.
solution to that too coming up. But first, some housekeeping, because we're going to do this every time. So first of all, if you're listening to this as recorded MP3, please know that we do stream live on Fridays at about 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific. You can join us live on Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, etc. And we can take your calls during some of those shows today, which I do have that running today. So
Somebody, please call. What's the number?
yes.
Put the number up.
We had a jingle. I heard the jingle. I was
I've
on
got
early.
the jingle and there's a slate and all sorts of stuff. I'm doing
We'll
other
get there.
things.
Well, if you have your cell phone ready,
Jamie, find that little
watch us
banner
on your
for the
cell
bottom.
phone, then go
But
somewhere
they can't
else.
call in now anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, so yeah, we'll get there.
Nobody's gonna.
All right, don't put that up. All right.
Not this one.
That's the one. Yes. Let's see. If you can't join us live, we still want you to connect with us on the socials. Follow us on Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, Blue Sky, etc. And please don't forget to spread the word. Please share this podcast with your friends, colleagues, enemies, coworkers, perfect strangers, anyone else who might enjoy it. So when you are grocery shopping in 1979 and listening to that music, put extra stuff in their cart and then tell them about this podcast from the future so they can subscribe to that. That'd be a great
Checkout
way
lines
to
are
do
the
it.
best way to
That's what
spread.
my daughter does. She just throws shit.
And random people's carts.
Random people's carts?
Well, and mine, yes.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right.
Both.
Do you have your own cart too?
If you do want to support the show, please consider donating. Your contributions help us keep bringing you the honest content that you love. You can find the donation link in this show notes of this episode or on our
Somewhere
website.
on there.
We do want to hear from you, so please reach out on Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, etc., or Blue Sky, or on just via old-fashioned email, which I get a lot from, actually, so mailbag at avsuperfriends.com. And finally, when you're listening to us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, etc., wherever you're listening to us, please go in and leave a rating and a review. Your feedback helps us grow and reach more listeners. Even if that review is negative, actually, it's kind of weird. It does bump
Anything is
up a
good.
little bit there,
It's
so,
all good.
yeah.
Just put it all in there.
All right, so with all that
All
said,
right, we did it.
thanks for your support, and we couldn't do this without you. And now we're going to take a commercial break because we're messing with our format here a little bit for a reason we'll talk about in a few weeks. But Jamie's here to tell you why it's important you write into us. He wasn't prepared for this.
As many of you know, the Super Friends have always been better received when we have more input from you. So, here's your chance. Send us a note at mailbag@avsuperfriends.com and get involved with the show. We're looking for some topics to discuss, some fellow nerds to talk to, or just general AV awesomeness to brag about. But remember, we'll probably steal your ideas. And I suppose we'd take some criticism, but that wouldn't be very nice. Anyway, drop us a note at mailbag@avsuperfriends.com and find out how quickly we ask you to join this nonsense.
I feel like we did a commercial break really early.
We did do it, and I
You
just
did.
said why.
And
so
you'll play along, Justin. You'll get there.
just
Really
Just go
early.
along for the show. Bud.
Too early.
You slept through all those meetings, didn't you?
His
All
notes
right, so-
crashed, Larry. He didn't.
My notes crashed. I've been busy. I got things happening over here.
things
And
happening.
stuff.
Many
I
of
have
things.
stuff. There's stuff happening too.
No
Well,
Next to
judgment.
now-
things.
No
and
judgment.
Justin, the irony is right now is going to be the little jingle we play that has you singing along. So now it's time for the news.
Yeah.
Justin's
Very
so excited
exciting.
for the news. All right, so today's news comes from the Zoom
mailbox.
marketing department. Yeah, comes from literally
my-
comes from Mark's
my
email.
Box.
And it's
We didn't
and
get it. I didn't get it.
None of us got this. So this is the secret.
Maybe it's
that Mark
complete
received.
bullshit. I don't even know. Maybe it's just spam. It could be totally
Mark's got
fake.
Teams rooms. I have Zoom rooms. Zoom sent something. Where is it at? I don't know. Makes sense.
I dropped the PDF into the Discord for everyone to see that one, but it does say basically it's a form letter from Zoom that says, "Dear valued customer, starting March 2025, which is like in
It's like
7
a couple
days.
hours from now. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you are, this may have happened to you already by the time you're listening to this. I don't know.
Yeah,
You
so,
might be listening to this not knowing because
If you have Zoom rooms, hold on to your butts because it says starting March 2025, select Zoom certified hardware devices will enter their official old and busted phase and begins Zoom's new end of
says
life
that.
support period.
Yes.
So
They're on life support from here on out.
it says if you need immediate assistance, please contact your vendor to purchase new gear. Stop calling us.
I mean, that was verbatim.
that's how
you read
I
it. Like
read it.
you could have at least read it.
And then there are 2 pages of listing of stuff that is going to be on the old and busted list. With
How's it make you feel?
lots of comments like no plans to update. So
Good luck.
that's cool.
And I mean, there's some Crestron, there's some neat products, some Yealink.
Crestron,
I mean,
D10,
there's some-
Extron, HP,
D10.
Poly,
Yeah.
Neat, Yealink.
We're not
yeah.
talking old products either.
No, there's some
Like,
fairly new-ish stuff in that. I mean, shit, I may have ordered some
oh,
of that
they're
stuff. a couple
deployed
weeks ago.
somewhere. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're deployed.
So, thanks. I mean, I guess they're doing their part to stimulate the economy. I don't know.
This is the whole reason why I don't like Teams and Zoom rooms is because
This
the
is the
cloud
reason? This
management
is
of
it?
that. Well, it's the main reason. At any point, at any time, your whole day could be ruined by Teams and Zoom.
It already is.
Well, I mean, if you're not dealing with
he
it
means
at that
more so
day,
than
Oh, more so.
like like Monday could be a terrible day for you, Mark.
Tell me
But
something
it
I don't
may
know.
Not be. It may not be. It may be a great day, and so like.
But isn't
for
that why
us,
we're in this to begin with? Like, you never know what's going to happen.
But see,
and
this
is
isn't
further
just-
proof of that.
This isn't just the. This is just the tip of the spear here. So behind that is the
mean tip of the
whole.
iceberg?
Hey, by the way, we're not supporting this firmware on your USB cameras, and the only way to update them is pull them off the wall and hook them to a laptop. And so, yeah, that didn't have a message. There was no warning. It just happened across our campus. So we had to go around and fix all of our Zoom rooms with a laptop and sneakers.
So there's part of me that believes that this is just Zoom putting these
threat?
manufacturers on blast. Like, hey, you didn't pay your certification check, or it didn't clear, or it may have bounced, or maybe you're waiting for your tax deduction to come to renew your software or whatever it is.
I think it's opposite. I think
it's not end of life, it's end of certification.
Right. I think, in my opinion, that these companies that you see here, D10, HP, Poly, Neat, are like, hey,
That's
we
everybody
wanna
from the
sell
commercial AV
more-
Reddit.
Yeah, we want to sell more gear. So let's tell Zoom to send this out. And then everybody's going to have to buy our new stuff because Zoom's going to disable it. And then we're releasing some new stuff. And so now it's like
you think it's driving the market here?
1 to 2 year replacement cycle now for Zoom and Team Rooms.
I guess I'm
just
getting
to
what
keep
I want.
them up and running.
A 3-year replacement cycle. Here we are.
Plus your licensing.
End of
Talk about
certification.
conspiracy theories.
Yeah, it does define end of certification here. The date the device will no longer hold Zoom certification. On this date, the end of life support begins. Will it keep working? But I think
Maybe,
what they're saying
probably,
is
maybe.
it may work for a bit longer, but at some point it's going to quit.
Maybe
ready.
the next day.
Yeah, and
Maybe
I
not.
there's a big part of this is okay, fine. They want to keep things updated. They have security patches and things. And if you look through the notes on the reasoning why is because Android's out of date, Android's out of date, Android's out of date, Android's out of date.
Which
And
is
a lot of
why-
times.
That's another show.
Topic, yeah.
Is don't
Yeah,
buy Android stuff.
That's your pro tip of the day. If it has Android on it, it's probably not pro.
It's not long term.
Yeah.
No. Jamie, look at it silver lining. If it has embedded Android, that means it comes with an already pre-included from the factory replacement date.
That's true.
That's
Because
Unfunded,
wrong.
but
You're not wrong.
you can look up every Android model and say, oh, it's going to expire in 2028. Yeah, I mean, it tells you right there. It's like Chrome. If you buy Chromebooks and things, it tells you within the OS, yeah, this is no longer supported after 2027. Like,
Perfect
oh,
engineered
okay.
obsolescence. I love it.
that's in the
And
future.
this is one of the things that really bothers me about the Room's trends, is that the certification process, in order to make sure it quote make sure it works, they have this certification. We all know it's money in the back end, but at any given time, right?
Where?
It just quits.
Money right in your back end, Chris. That's what I
Somebody
heard.
takes the money out of your back end. You know,
It's not what I heard the first time.
Backdoor residuals.
Backdoor residuals.
We fund our stuff only through the side hatch.
It has to be a liquefied finance system.
Liquefied backdoor what?
Wow.
All right.
You got
But
there. Yeah.
I don't like it that somebody else's decision can overhaul your budget, your finances, your inventory.
I'm just gonna make
at
you
any
have a
given
bad
time, if you bought 150 of these poly systems, and you're like, we're cruising. Oh, in 2 years I've got to replace every single one of those or change my entire structure, and you had nothing to do with it. They may still be quote good products, working products that just can't do what you need
perceive
them
them as
to
working
do.
up until the software says they do not.
Yeah. And you're just beholden upon somebody, some corporate contract, some lawyer somewhere, some money exchanging hands, and you can't do anything about it. You're just stuck. And that bothers me a lot, that Microsoft now is my life cycle decision maker, is Microsoft.
This one's Android, but yes.
This is Zoom,
Well,
but yes.
okay, but
Your point is valid.
I get you.
or Zoom, that or Google, somebody else says, nope, your life cycle is only 2.5 years. Oh, but I need 7. Tough.
How about 3?
If you haven't listened to the March on topic yet, ignore this comment. But you all were talking about not replacing the entire room anyway, only replacing bits and pieces. So doesn't this kind of fit that model?
Yeah, but all at once. Like say you
that
have
little-
500 Teams rooms, 500 Zoom rooms. Like that would be crap. That would suck.
It
That
would be crap. I'm not saying it's a good model.
All
I
at
didn't agree
once.
with it then either.
Not saying it's the model. I'm just saying it's a model.
all
Yeah.
at once.
But if you're okay, so it kind of does, but I'm not relying on some of these room systems with that kind of budgetary and replacement cycle in mind, right? I want to be able to replace any endpoint whenever I want because it died, not because Microsoft decided not to certify it.
The thing still works. Exactly. Jim. It,
died either
still
way.
works.
you got almost 3 years of still service coming out of there is based on the literature.
Yeah, they'll give you security updates,
yeah.
but you're not going to get the newest features. You're not going to get all the buzzwordy stuff. And I think part of this is what they're looking at here is they probably have some big announcement coming up where they're overhauling Zoom's underlying codec structure or something, and the older hardware simply won't support it, which is fine if they give you an appropriate runway of like, hey, over the next 2 years, this one's not going to be Zoom Plus certified, but it'll still work for Zoom. And then 2 years from now, they roll. I think there's a better way for them to do this rather than just like, here's a 4-page list of stuff. If you're on here, plan ahead. So.
This is they want to get off the 32-bit because they got to make room for Al.
Oh.
That's all it is.
And by the way, 1 of 5 of us actually got this, and we're all clients of this company.
We have Zoom rooms, and I didn't.
You're welcome, everybody. So if you didn't get
crap
this, you have it. You do. I think you do need to have a Zoom admin account to have received this.
Which I do.
Okay, I don't know. So maybe I'm
Not
wrong.
anymore, Justin. They fixed that glitch.
Yeah, you're out.
fixed
Enough bad mouthing, and they took you off that list. So I don't know. Does it just not feel more like PC World?
A little bit, yeah.
I mean, that's kind of it has shades of PC replacement cycle to me in here, and that's kind of what everything is anymore. So I'm not surprised. So
No, not surprised. We kind of understand some of the reasonings for, like Chris said, it's updates, it's new features, it's AI, whatever they're going to put in underneath. But
Yeah, but
it's
the
just
problem
obnoxious that you don't you're just stuck.
is you have one PC in a room, sometimes 2, if you're a
3 or 4,
sociopath.
700.
There's multiple AV things in a room, so you can't just.
let's not go making this division again.
We can't just keep replacing 10 things to one PC every 2 years because Zoom said so.
If I had more time, I would have loved to go through, put this list, feed it into our AI extruder, and find out when these products actually released in their original release dates to find out how much life they actually would have had, because that would have been a relevant piece of data to this conversation, right?
Yes.
And so maybe
Like
these
if
all
it's
are
7,
10-year-old
8
products.
years old.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Like,
maybe
And so
I'm going to bet they're
3.
4.
Yeah.
I'd say
At the end of 2020, early 2021, I'm going to bet that if we were to put a lunch bet on this, then I would be awash with Justin when he supports the block building. I'd just be washed out.
But
Or hello
even
me
if these-
too, one of the things.
ain't happening.
even if these things are, say 5 years old, and so you're like, yeah, I got 5 years out of it. That's, that's less than I would
That's
have
what I'm
liked,
saying,
but that's
yeah.
fine.
But still,
But
it's
even if that's the case, some of these will and still are on sale right now. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you have 500 of these things to replace, that's a lot of labor. That's a lot of work.
Just think of how much
With-
job
Time to
security
find
you
a
now
new
have.
job.
Yeah,
a week
exactly.
notification.
well, it's not. They're not
Who's
gonna drive
hiring?
them off.
Last
They're
year.
just- yeah.
No, you got 3 years to get this stuff replaced.
So, yeah,
and
maybe-
we've seen this in the
It's not
past.
going
It's not the first time. We had the big touch panel scare a couple years ago. We had to go through and replace all the touch panels, so that happened. And so this is the next version of that, and we will see more of it. I think moving forward, like this is the new normal for these software
reason-
reliant hardware pieces.
Another reason to get away from Zoom and Teams rooms.
I'm going all in. I'm doubling down. I'm
I'm
jumping
only
in.
WebEx rooms, Justin. Only WebEx rooms.
Yeah.
It's just
WebEx is fine. They don't really update anything anyway. So
Just figured out a way to make it work, so we're gonna keep running it.
oh, is that too low?
That was kind of low, yeah.
We can get lower than that. Trust me. Okay.
Well, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about what are we talking about here? Oh, when we come back, we're talking
$100.
about
Get your money out.
Mark's got
everybody.
$100, and everyone give Mark $100, and then
I'm going to give
we'll
it
tell
to
you more.
the other people. Yeah, and it's not a pyramid
sort of
scheme.
pyramid
folks.
scheme
This
here.
is a funnel plan. Everybody, get on board. Let's go.
Who is in my downline? That's what I need to know.
Well, you guys are going to figure that out.
We
the
are
break.
the downline.
Unfortunately, I think I am. So, all right, we'll take a quick break. Come back, talk about that.
Hey, you! Yeah, you with the weird AV issues that need fixing. Listen up, because this is the last time I'm gonna say it. Are you tired of your electronics acting like they were put together by a bunch of monkeys with soldering irons? Well, guess what? You're in luck, pal. Introducing Independent Amalgamated AV Integrations, where we barely meet industry standards and still manage to stay in business. Look, we know you have a choice when it comes to who handles your AV, but let's be real here. Are you really gonna trust some slick-talking, overpriced company with your precious gadgets? I didn't think so. At Independent Amalgamated AV Integrations, we promise to half-heartedly install your stuff with just enough competence to not get sued. And if you're lucky, it might even work for a little while. So, if you're ready to settle for mediocrity and save a few bucks in the process, give us a call at 555-GET-OK or visit independentamalgamated.com. And remember, at Independent Amalgamated AV Integrations, we're just good enough to not completely ruin your day. Maybe.
I still don't know why there's police sirens, but
Maybe.
okay.
The guy's on the street, Justin. It's theater of the mind.
Always police sirens on the street.
Especially in my small town.
Yes.
Yeah, same.
So Mark's got 100. No, wait. We all owe Mark
Mark's got
$100.
$100. Mark's got $100.
Mark's got $100. Mark, explain what's going on here about this using this methodology of determining what value we put on different capabilities of our learning spaces, given a $100 limit here. Oh, and Mark
Okay.
apparently just blew up, so he can't.
I just
share
blew up,
stuff.
and I think I'm kind of coming back. So I don't know.
There you go.
We'll see.
Are you,
we'll
are
see.
you running on a Teams room right now? Is that-
Yes,
No, I
your
have.
Teams room
I'm
is
running.
out of date.
My computer is one of. I'm just using the Crestron touch panel as my computer, and unfortunately, it's Zoom room.
Are you using the Zoom Compute as your computer?
Yes, I'm not going to dare share anything in this because it's going to collapse my entire house of cards.
You want me to share this document or not? Is this a value?
No, we
to
can
do
we can
so?
talk about it. We'll talk if you want to talk about it. The concept of this exercise came from the old architectural exercise we do in spaces, or when you're designing buildings, doing the old $100 trick
Isn't
where you got
the term is charrette.
charrette. There you
Oh.
fine. If you want to use correct terminology, go ahead, Mr.
I don't have a
Fancy
ponytail,
Pants.
so I can't actually use that term legally.
charrette. And with all the talk about standards and what we're doing and how much we're spending on this and that and this, it maybe kind of harken back to are we actually spending the right percentage of our budgets on the capabilities that we're looking for in a classroom? And so I amassed a think tank of individuals to craft this document. It was nobody in this damn room, by the way.
Oh,
So
Useful people is what you
yeah. And so I said, well, what are the common capabilities we see in a teaching and learning environment? They're often delivered by technology, because we could say we don't need any of this stuff. I get it. I know you could say, I don't need anything. I could just teach from the front of the room, Larry, and be totally successful with my active learning hot dogs and hamburgers class. And you're not wrong. You are not wrong. And so I amassed this list. I want to read through this list. And then the exercise is can we agree on the top 10 from this list of whatever the hell you guys added to it, roughly 20, and say, okay, if that's our 100% out of these 10s, could we categorize them correctly and spend that $100 accordingly on the top 10? How will we break down that $100 by percentage, right? And then we will not have time, I guarantee today, to go through that all. But that would then roughly say that's how we value the capability. Does it align with what we spend in a normal classroom? Whatever your normal classroom may be, I do not know. I don't know. You all will have to answer that to yourselves. But to me, the heart of the conversation is, do we even agree on the top 10 technological enabled capabilities in a teaching learning space? Yes or no?
I doubt it. I
Probably don't. And so
Probably don't.
that was the basis of throwing this whole thing off rails, shared this document out. Let's dive in. What do you think? So these are not in any specific order at all. They are just as tabulated by Al and given to us because Al has all the juicy insights to what we're doing. This is what he said. So can we even agree? 1, large high definition display in a space. Do we need that? Yes, no?
Define high definition.
High resolution screens and projectors for clear visualization of content, ensuring all students can see detailed images and videos.
Can we buy
Properly
a low
sized.
resolution screen today?
Don't know.
Can
I don't know. Do we need a screen? Yes or no? In a technologically enabled
display
classroom.
of some
display.
sort.
A display of
Yes.
some sort.
We do need that. Okay, good.
most of the time?
I'm not saying, I did not say, can you teach in this room without it? I'm saying technology enabled spaces. Do we agree we need a screen? Yes or no?
Sure.
You're wrestling with that so bad. For one, okay.
Just went,
and
I'm
this is
waiting
where
for
it's
somebody
gonna-
to like argue with me about, no, we don't need it.
I'm waiting.
I'm saving that on speakers.
This next one's coming for you, Justin. You gave it away earlier.
Sound?
Audio and acoustic performance, high quality audio systems and acoustic treatments to ensure speech intelligibility and immersive audio experience. Microphones for students, whatever. Not just for remote, but for voice lift as well. Maybe separate category. Distributed audio, more importantly, for program audio. So, do we need a sound system in a room?
Yes.
In a technologically enabled classroom.
So we have to remember that the things that happen on my campus aren't always my decisions. So I agree, sound systems are important.
Yeah, you do not have to speak
Yes.
for WKU. I would ask you to not
Yes.
for legal reasons.
I agree.
Okay, so we're going to keep those top 2 for now. Computing capabilities with high-speed internet. So install computer with network.
Yes.
Yeah, because what are you gonna?
So people are going to say, well,
Jamie?
what about BYOD? So
I'm all in with having with having network connections and a PC of some sort. Now, when you said it's an install a computer, they need a device
we are
with
providing
internet
this.
access that in orders for them to present to the display that's available. That's
so we
I
can
feel
discuss
that's
how we go
important.
about doing that. Maybe when
Whether
we
it's
get into that category.
BYOD or included, whatever. But there needs to be something like that with internet capabilities.
Okay. Larry, you agree? Disagree?
Larry's saying no.
Well, I agree with everything he said, except for it needs to be installed too. But that's
Well, so we're going to have some capability for
Yeah,
computing
iPad
capacity
with
somewhere.
Wi-Fi.
yeah.
That could work.
Whatever.
Okay. We value the capability, right? Okay. What about lecture capture? Do we need lecture capture system to allow recording and streaming of lectures, allowing students to review sessions after? Now, that streaming piece, I'm willing to omit from this, though we don't have to. So this is like, do we need systems, technology systems that cameras, microphones, something to record with in a
I don't
modern
think
teaching room?
you. I mean,
I don't
not
think it's a necessity.
need.
No.
Okay. But this is part of the exercise.
That's,
So
that's
what we
the
like it.
nice to have bucket.
So,
Okay.
Mark, in this type of
Yeah.
exercise, I do want to point out, what if you have the wrinkle where in the previous one was, do we want some sort of computer in there, whether that's BYOD or installed, installed being the correct answer. If you do that, though, how does it affect if now, say, lecture capture comes with that? Because
Well,
I'm running it
I
as
think
software.
that's part of the exercise when you get to the end, right? You said I want these capabilities. They're need to have for me somewhere. Can you combine some of these now and pool your budgets? Since we've all given this money around it, can you team up with the people under you to take their $100 and make this a reality? I don't know. We'll find out.
We should do this
Right.
again in a couple months, but like get one of those boards where we can move the cards around and stuff.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So lecture
So
capture.
yes, lecture capture.
We like
yes.
lecture capture. Okay. Kristen, you're taking notes. Good. Somewhere.
I need to take notes.
Justin
Are you
is
not
on
taking
the
notes?
Copious notes.
Jesus.
I thought we had Otter open. Did we not?
That's Al. Okay.
Al is listening.
ADA compliance. And when I say ADA, this includes like adjustable desks, hearing loops, screen readers. Maybe not all of them, but something we're going to spend in the name of ADA. Yes.
You have to
Not
make
hearing loops.
Okay.
Not hearing loops,
You have
but
to make
sound reinf-
acceptable accommodations.
You have to make the ability to add an accommodation.
Okay. So we're going to
However
we
you
like
wanna
that,
define that.
as a capability. We're at least we're going to acknowledge that, and I hope you all come to the conclusion that yes, that
Talk
is
the legal.
answer.
We all strive to have systems that support captioning, systems that support audio reinforcement direct into students' ear holes. So yes, that is definitely something I think that's high on the list. Or on the
Image
list.
magnification, number 6 that I have here. I'm thinking dock cameras and IMAG type thing, some level of something there. Is that a need to
Not
have?
necessarily. You can get around
I
that.
don't think anymore. No.
You can get around that with a phone and computer. So
It's in every
then, Justin, you're
space,
still
but
doing
it doesn't have to be there.
I'm just saying that, like, are we focused on the device? Or are we focused on?
The exercise is: would you want to have it as one of your top 10 capabilities
want,
in
need.
a teaching learning?
But that's the exercise.
I want to acknowledge this as a need, some way. We have to. There's analog stuff that needs to get into my teaching and learning environment. Yes
What
or
if that teacher doesn't have
other
analog
ways.
stuff? Maybe that teacher scanned in all his frog slides before class and put them on the computer in PowerPoint. No big deal.
no? Hey, yes, you can mitigate that through an effective teaching and learning group on your campus to do all that. So I want to have it. I want to have it there.
Yes, I would say
need.
This is the first one. We're at number 6 here. The 1st one on the list that I am torn on because by default I do this everywhere. But it is one of those things where if I have to start thinking about streamlining further, this is the first thing to go.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Or
I don't believe
downscale
in
it.
a modern system. It's not.
okay, well that's interesting. Okay, so this one.
That said, unlike I think probably everyone else on this call, I'm in most of my standard rooms now. If the space allows for it, because it is an infrastructure concern, I'm installing 2 IMAG devices, the dock cam and a marker board camera.
Whoa.
So
Okay,
across the board.
Nice to have, but not needed.
in a modern teaching and learning facility, would we expect to have this capability? Yes or no?
We're throwing around a lot of different definitions here. Expect. Need.
I want it. I want this one, and I if it gets kicked off the island when we get there, so be it. It's all about the percentage that we're spending. Remember, keep that goal in mind. So, okay.
I mean, yeah. It's nice
No,
to have.
you said your piece. You're done. Okay.
I heard him, and I quote, I mean, yeah.
Remote teaching, hybrid teaching capabilities. Larry, I'm not dying on a hill of hot dogs and hamburgers here. I'm talking cameras and microphones for like getting outbound from space. Okay.
Don't need it.
Only high flex.
All
No
the time.
hybrid. Larry's so angry.
No, like it's a nice to have, but I would rather outfit rooms that do it well than have it mandated it has to be everywhere.
Good point.
I think that's a really important piece, because if it's like on the line of like number 11 or number 10, you may not have enough money left over to do this the right way. So don't just buy a document camera and flip it around,
Aim
Justin.
it at somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you guys already said you're not buying dock cams. I'm the only one buying a dock cam, so I can aim it at people. So,
Well,
Just stand really close to the whiteboard and stare into it.
yep. Look at that camera above the whiteboard. It's great.
So this is a nice to have, but not a need to have, maybe. If can be afforded correctly, you'd want to do it. But to afford it correctly, it means it makes nothing else affordable.
I like Larry's reasoning on this. Yes, I think this is a need to have, but only with the caveat that only if you do it right. Putting a $90 webcam on your teaching lectern and aiming it at the students is not doing it right.
What
probably
if it's got
worse.
2 students?
Okay.
No,
Or worse.
I don't think it's not a need in most. I'm thinking majority of modern day course rooms. It is not a need. It is a want, and in specific targeted spaces.
So let me
That
ask
we may have
A
just
lo-
now
a lot of
explained
this-
why the experience sucks for everybody. So
a lot of this has a lot to do with how your university is implementing policies around education. For
You're
like
not
Mark, for
wrong.
instance,
You are not
is
wrong.
like Mark may have to put a camera in every classroom where
do
I get yelled at when I do, right? You know, so it just depends on policies.
I'm
No,
just
by-
thinking
You know,
in a broad in broad definitions. In a broad definition of a classroom, what is a need and what is a want? or a would like or a
Yeah,
specificity.
I really, really want this, but I really, really want it correctly.
I
So
want it
there's some.
correctly.
So let me raise this too, because I'm updating some rooms this summer that are the rooms themselves are 8 or 9 years old, but they got the magical COVID monies and they got cameras and microphones. But these spaces are not ideal remote hybrid whatever teaching spaces. It is not a good experience for people in those rooms. So I'm removing cameras and mics from these rooms and not putting them back.
Yeah.
So
I'm doing that same thing, but I'm actually just putting a webcam on the monitor for the instructor.
That's
and
not
all
correct.
necessary. It's not, but now they have something. So
You
when
know what
I
they're
take
gonna
it out,
do?
I don't get yelled at.
They're going to turn it around and go, "Oh, look, it's the audience."
Nope, they don't do that. If they want to do a full class thing,
You
there
can't
are
watch
rooms on
everybody.
campus that do that.
You can't
Okay.
watch everybody.
So that one's interesting because
you don't
we'll see
know.
if we can afford that. And actually, I'm sneaking suspicion that we may not be able to. Now, this next one, if we can see forward in the next list, I want to couch what we're going to say here. Collaboration technologies.
What is
I don't want to say what you have highlighted, Chris. I want to say like digital collaboration tools, group workstations to encourage student interactive. I want to say this as like active learning pod style. This may be more of a furniture play than what you had highlighted. Because I want to save that
I
for
was
down
crossing that out
Learning?
because you have it down below.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm not going to put that in there.
If it's active learning, it's exactly the same answer for me as the last one. If you're going to do it correctly, it's worthwhile in certain rooms.
Okay.
But Larry, I really want to half-ass this.
Oh, by all means.
I got a
try
hankering to
squeeze it
half-ass
down to 18 square feet
Keep that-
per student and make it work.
Yeah,
I've got
keep
a
that shit in Wyoming.
I got a 4-foot diameter table, and I'm going to put 6 people around it. So there's 48 people in a room, and I'm going to put 3 projectors in that room. That is now active learning.
Which architectural firm are you working for right now, Chris? Because it sounds like a
might
lot
be.
of them. Yeah.
I have that room, and I will happily share those documents out as the world's second worst active learning classroom.
Oh, I got the first one.
No,
Okay.
I have the first one.
No.
too.
So
He's got the
student
first one, too.
collaboration is one of those things where it may not be needed everywhere, but if and when you do it intentionally and do it right. Is that what you're saying? Mm-hmm. Okay. All right.
So, and that's an interesting one because from the standpoint of collaborative technologies, are we all on board with like you can have a very successful problem-based learning, active learning space with tables and chairs and whiteboards. So
Yes.
Well, that may speak to the one after this next one because this next one, Chris, I know you're going all in on.
I am. I've spent $100 of my money on this next one.
Virtual and augmented reality.
Yes, every room. I'm removing projectors and displays. You walk in, and there are some Googles on the desk that you have to strap to your face hole.
Some Google.
You don't just hand them out in the hall. You have one student whose whole job is to take them and then take them back and clean them, or you just leave them dirty.
No, we
This
hired the
does-
same people
Leave
who
'em
work at the
dirty.
movie theater, and they collect them afterwards, and they wipe them down with the same rag that you then they
with their
Right.
popcorn greasy fingers.
Yes. Okay.
This doesn't even make the if you're going to do it right list. This
Yeah.
is just don't do it.
Just flat out no. So, but now let me stretch. Harken back to the on trial episode. What if I put a QR code up there and have you as a student scan that and take me somewhere else and have some other thing? It may not. You're not
That's
wearing
worse.
it. Is it worse? Okay, so you don't want that
Yeah,
either.
that's worse.
Are
That's
you
a
talking
QR
about
code on a
second screen
whiteboard.
stuff, or-
does.
Yeah, second screen / it's augmented. Is it not?
Oh no, gross.
Let's not get stuck on the language here. Okay, moving on. That's a hard,
I
hard
thought
pass.
I thought you were talking about second screen stuff where you want to be able to, like that second content stream. But
Yes. Is that
We're talk-
is having a second screen in your there not augmenting the capability of the room?
Mark's vocabulary likes to be stretched a lot in
I was gonna
means.
say, that's not what augmented reality means, and you know it.
If you haven't noticed,
I'm trying to get you on technicality. Okay, well,
This is not
I'm
a
leaving
need.
it.
No,
It's out there. It's not needed. Moving on.
it's not
Okay.
a need.
But what if I do want to visit Spain?
Then go.
Sure.
Well,
Wait.
then
Oh.
you just missed it. You could have been a part of an organization that would have taken you there if you had invested
Why
in
is
that money and
ISE
time.
not held entirely virtually if that's all people are doing? So I'm just there's that
Anything
out
in
there.
Spain should just be virtual.
I don't think Spain exists. I don't think it's real.
Spain as a country is virtual in itself.
Okay. So see this next one. If you take flexible furniture, let's. I want to remove the group work thing. Do we need movable furniture and tables?
You got to have
and all
somewhere to
that?
sit. You got to
Yes.
have
Well,
we
chairs
need
and tables.
Absolutely.
Okay.
The chair has to move out from underneath the table.
Does it though?
Does it? Yeah, I don't.
Don't
Why-
you have
why?
things called tablet armchairs? Because I've got
We have
thousands.
Table
tons
moves
of
out from the
classrooms
chair.
built in
And it is
1963
modular, isn't it?
with chairs this wide that are
Does
stuck
it
to the
move?
ground.
Is
Or
it
stuck to the
bolted to the,
ground?
floor?
They're stuck fixed to the ground with the little the
Remember the
That stupid
exercise.
thing?
If
Yeah.
we could afford flexible furniture in
A
here,
modular arm that turns
Do we
into
want
a
it?
desk.
You're
I
starting
think
to
it's more important
be more like
than
Mark
the
and
tech
stretching that
collaborative.
terminology.
collaborative. If the space has collaborative uses, we want to have it.
I think it's more important than the technology in those spaces. So this goes higher on the list
Yeah,
for me.
I think
Okay.
it also lends itself to how the space is being programmed for.
This is like-
for teaching. So
Larry's Maslow's like
Hierarchy.
Yeah, but-
hierarchy of
Yeah.
needs in a teaching learning space. Okay.
I think there's some gross overdoing of furniture, but furniture and activity and
You
tables
guys feel like
and
you
chairs.
guys sound like you're working for an architectural firm all of a sudden.
These are extremely important for a learning
Yeah.
space.
I know it is.
And so those are neat. Now,
I mean, butts
how-
in seats
how
is the
flexible-
drive, is it not?
how
I mean, we need
flexible,
seats to put
how
those butts
they
in.
would- Exactly. So I do feel as though the furniture and the space and that is all extremely now. We, as usual, usually it's overkill or it's completely in the wrong idea of you can move this anywhere. No, that's not what we need. Places where people can sit, be comfortable, and do the task at hand. Whether it's teaching.
Do you
or
want it
learning.
coming out of your AV budget?
Oh, it never does anyway. Sit and
I
finish.
do. I do. Yeah. I do.
Okay. Oh,
wait, you're going to
interesting.
pay for
Because you want to control it.
I want to control it. I want to have a seat at the table, no pun intended,
You have to
where
bring
I
that
can
seat with
fight
you.
for the square footage per student, and I can say, if this lecture hall used to sit 120, I can't make it flexible active learning and seat 120.
So you want to take
gonna-
that on as you're going to own it.
You're going to keep
I
that
would love to.
as a budget item, but not getting new monies.
Don't worry about it. Okay.
All the FF&E budget is Larry.
Fine. As a power grab, Larry, we're going to give it to
Hey.
you. Okay. So this one I
North
had a hard time.
Carolina money.
This one, the adaptive learning, to me
Wait,
makes
what
it.
number are we on?
This is number 11. This makes
you
it
have to- you
feel
have to
like
read these, 'cause
I know.
no one's
Number
gonna see
11, adaptive learning technologies, AI-driven tools, and personalized learning experiences based on individual student needs and progress. Not I. This is not accessibility to me. That's not what this is. This is tools
it.
completely different that are this need, like really focused on the individual learner, and it can adapt through them. And note you have in there by way of the LMS. Is this an LMS play?
This is a learning technology, not a classroom technology.
Yes.
So is it even the same budget?
That's what I was about to say. I want this because I don't have to pay for it.
So you're willing to highest thing you need, no money going towards it.
I'll put this at number one, and you get
Number two,
$0
it's
towards
it's this and then chairs and then everything else as long as you're not paying.
No, chairs secondary because we have standing rooms.
No, okay. Standing room only.
That's right.
Standing
Okay.
meetings.
But no, I
So-
think these things are cool. But to your point, and that's why I put that little comment in there. This is something that's coming through the LMS or coming through some sort of campus-wide, site-wide, site license. You know, everyone gets access to it, et cetera. So these are
Wow.
important tools for the teaching experience, but I wouldn't think they're part of a classroom
Okay,
space.
that's fine. Cool. But they should be accessible by way of web page on your compute.
On my
Yes.
computer.
Okay.
Lots of things are acceptable. That doesn't mean I pay
Yes,
for them.
you're not wrong. You do whatever
Did
you
you
want.
say
I'm not paying
acceptable or
for it.
accessible?
Acceptable,
way.
but he's not paying.
So the neighbor's dog is antagonizing my dog, so it's going to be a little noisy for a little bit.
It's fine. Man, just
Hopefully you
mute
don't
yourself.
hear it.
Okay, next one. This is going to be the one that we're going to get all bent out of shape on here. Number 12, BYOD, personal device support. Is this a need to have in a modern teaching and learning space?
Yes.
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 Okay,
For presentation. Yes.
Yes. Well, that's what it says here.
for presentation, yeah.
To share content.
Ability to share
from-
content from your personal device via either wired or wireless connectivity.
No.
You said a
Wait,
bad
well,
word there.
No. It is important. No, whichever
Wired.
way you do it, it is important.
Wired. Yes.
Okay, I'm not gonna say it. We're gonna on ramp it, and we're gonna say whatever budget we have towards it. We're gonna associate it correctly. So put that in the top 10 somewhere. That's what we're saying. Okay.
Do you want to talk about the note I put below that, or
Well, yeah,
are we going to ignore that and hope no one notices?
BYOM. Are we doing BYOM with this? So in a classroom, are we going to swing our entire infrastructure over to make it accessible for people's devices?
Only
Nice to have,
BYOM
not
or
necessary.
Yes.
I have the hardware to do this now, and I still don't want to do it.
Want to or do it, right?
See,
No,
need?
it needs to be.
nice
I
to
think-
have? Not
So
need?
so let me. So if,
Jamie,
if
are
you're
the
accommodating,
boundaries.
are
No,
you?
we're turning a thing society.
that
we're
person can
turning
walk in
a
that
current
classroom,
corner.
can email that document to themselves and open it on the classroom computer.
Oh boy! All right. So no, I'm gonna ask you
You
this,
don't
Jamie. So
need-
if you're doing BYOD support, are you automatically including BYOM in
Not
that
automatically.
capability?
I usually do, but I don't have to.
This feels like that USB-C conversation all over again to me. But go. I'll
it's-
also cede the floor to you, Jamie. Answer.
Yeah, no, I see. I group them together. I wouldn't even have separated them.
Oh, you just acknowledge I'm in the wrong for putting them in two different categories. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, I just if you're bringing your own device, you should. It's bringing your own meeting too, right? Can I use my own device? I am always using my own device. I don't like using a provided device, and so I strive now. I'm not successful most of the time. We all know the hiccups here, but I feel as though it's a need, and I keep trying to implement these
Is
things.
it not enough of a need because it's not budgeted correctly? Is that what we're getting at here?
I think the products and there are other
We have not
obstacles
reached
outside of.
maturity enough to handle this on our own.
That was my
Yes.
point. Or my thought was, I would agree in the objective sense that this would be a cool feature, maybe bordering on need, but it's like right there on the edge to do. But I don't think neither the most of the hardware we're deploying nor the users are mature enough to handle this, and that's my concern.
It
And
is
if
a
it's
maturity
not,
thing,
I don't want to put it there.
but I feel like it's so important that I keep trying to implement it. And to Mark, we're
And you
trying this
fail.
Teams room thing
I'm trying,
because
yeah.
Teams is everywhere and bring
it's
your
one
own
of the
thing.
uses, yeah. But I'm wireless only. I'm all
Look,
about getting rid of wired altogether.
I am not.
magazine?
I've not been super successful. I've had marginal success in different areas, but I keep attempting to do this because I do feel like it's important. I provide computers in every single space. However,
Technology's not
I'm that
there yet.
a-hole that always brings in my own, and so
But you know how to deal with that technically. I mean, you could
do.
you could rig stuff up. And that's the problem.
And I
is-
still roll my eyes, and
widgets.
I still have a heavy
Yeah.
sigh every time somebody says we want to do this multiplied, and I'm like, oh my god, no.
Okay, so
You're not ready for that.
Well,
but I
so-
do
so
feel as though it's
we're
important.
going to
and it's a
acknowledge this
need.
capability across
Yeah.
the board. We're going to spend something towards it.
So Jamie,
AVSF
came up-
acknowledged.
This came up in a recent meeting with the entire College of Business faculty, and
It's always the College of Business.
Yeah, and when they were driving, because College of Business, they like to use their laptops as their devices as their primary source of content. And the
And
request was they want to be able to conference. And yet, if you go back and look through our tickets, the place where we get the most number of tickets for people having trouble with their own devices is the College of Business. So it's like, I get that, and I'm torn. And what I've been doing is the hardware I buy already supports it. But to your point, it's a little quirky, it's a little weird. So I have it there if I really, really need it, but I'm not deploying
Yeah.
it by default.
But it's usually not the hardware's fault. It's usually
It's a
the
management
user's
issue.
laptop and the user
Yeah.
understanding
And-
how to set it up correctly.
The College
you
of
don't
Businesses. Yeah, the College of
Yeah, I mean,
Businesses has a higher percentage of those adjunct, those not full-time faculty members coming in with their own, and it's their business laptop that they're presenting from, and there's management issues, and these are the things that why it always breaks down. This
Justin,
is
what are
it,
you eating?
but nothing good. But
Gum.
See you know where stuff.
Okay, we like it. We're
It's a
going to
need.
have some stuff. It's a need. It's
It's a
in the-
need. We're
it's
not
in the
successful
Maslow
doing
list
it,
of
but it's
need
a
to
need.
have for classrooms. Okay.
I just keep
doing
throwing money at it.
Okay. I mean, the exercise is we're going to have to eliminate 7 of these things in this list. Moving
Holy
on.
crap.
I know.
7?
7. Next thing. This is an easy one. Easy victory here. Digital signage. Do your classrooms need to have the capability of being digital signage?
Yeah.
Even mass alerts. I'll put mass alert in there. Are they mass alert in there?
Oh,
Nope.
crap. Massive.
don't have to,
I've
no.
decided
No.
to. I've decided that this tele protocol, where you can get a brand new television and it has a second screen with all advertisements all the time. That's how I'm paying for my budgets from here on out.
Is it
Ad
free?
revenue?
Ad revenue.
Oh, no.
It's a captive audience.
Are you thinking about the mass notification
No.
piece in your teaching and learning class? You're not. Okay. All right, well, I would like to have this.
not
I don't know if
mandated.
it's
The
there yet.
system that the system
Until
that
it's
we use
mandated.
so that
Using
Mark, so-
phones. Yeah.
So, Mark, that was one of the items on our requirements for our
Mm-hmm.
campus-wide system for digital signage when we did that RFP about 3 years ago.
Ours doesn't.
So
yeah.
that's already there for digital signage, players, appliances, etc. But I'm not putting digital signage.
Somebody is screaming right now, but isn't that what you're doing in the classroom anyway? Aren't you just doing digital signage? Is it not a big display with information on it?
No,
Yeah, but
It's
it's,
not.
being managed
it's
differently.
different.
Okay.
Yeah.
This
That
is
content
a
is-
technicality.
Not scheduled.
We have to eliminate something. I'm willing to eliminate this one with you all, but I want to
This
make
is
sure we're
not-
unpacking
This
it.
is not a need. But I am, I said
If I don't
just
need lecture
earlier,
capture, I don't need digital signage. Like, let's just.
You don't even need speakers, brother. So I don't even know what we're talking about here.
and I said in jest earlier, like, no, I want to, but in all honesty, I don't see any issue with when in non-use. Why can't some of these things display information and advertisements and revenue generation?
Can't you do that through the
for
PC,
university?
through programming and other
it's
things and
Okay.
smart people?
Yeah,
mean,
but
if
it
you
may,
really
be a
had to.
it may be a low
But
cost
it's a-
victory. It could be a low cost victory.
It could. Now, it's an organizational struggle to do any of that anywhere of success, and therefore it is not a need. But why not?
Hey,
I
Jamie,
keep
got a
asking that question.
If the room isn't in use, doesn't that mean it's empty and there's no reason to have digital signage in it?
Not. I mean, no. Yes. No.
It's not
I
for
mean,
scheduled
yes.
curricular use. Doesn't mean
a
it
student
can't be
in the back
used.
studying, Larry.
Yeah.
I mean, we have.
there's that one
Should be
kid in the
blinding
back
him with that
studying, and
projector.
you're just blasting
We
him with
don't.
Did you know you could get coffee downstairs?
Yeah, we don't have a lot of areas
Pepsi, the choice of whatever.
Okay.
for students just to chill. So there is actually a lot of eyeballs running around.
Okay. This next one, I had to provide some additional notes in here. So it sounded very nebulous, and it was. And it's advanced AV integration. And what I really mean by this is, do you need to have all of your stuff controlled by a control system in there
yes,
to make a modern teaching and learning space work?
yes.
Maybe.
I will die on this hill.
The
Automation,
control system is a remote control. too. It could
AV
be-
automation and control, Chris, I think is the correct nomenclature here.
Yeah,
You
don't
can
need
have
integration, you
automation
need
and control with a remote.
You're not wrong.
Man.
Yes, yes.
Larry, my rooms are fully automated. They just take 7 steps to do anything. So
Oh, yeah, you just have to walk over there, and
Push the
then
buttons.
you have to call the help desk and have them walk another 7,000 steps.
so this
Here's what
one's
we're
been a
going to do.
challenge.
We're going to put a processor in every classroom, and we're going to connect it back to Astra so that it turns everything on and off by the classroom schedule.
Automatically.
And that's
that
automatically.
works. That fits in
The
there.
People
hell it
want that.
does.
People
it does
want
not
that.
work. And why doesn't it work, Larry? I'll tell you why. Because people are humans and they change classrooms. Like, oh, I don't like this seat, so we're going to move over here to this empty room,
But
and
if
then
that
this
room
and then
doesn't
that.
turn on, they change back.
But I don't think it has to be either or. Would that be useful if your rooms were capable of doing that? Doesn't mean you can't use it if it's not on. You just turn it on.
I mean,
like
I
it's
turn
doing
stuff off
automated
at
for you.
night, but
Yeah.
I don't like
Same.
turning
Yeah.
stuff
The opposite is true also. If nobody's in there, do we want
I mean,
automation to turn things
we
off?
do that already.
I turn it off at
It's
10 o'clock at night, and then we turn on the digital signage. Works better that way.
At 2 to 3 in the morning.
I don't want to need this, but I feel like you need some type of logic control in a modern teaching and learning environment, whether it be handheld or something or other.
So I
Say-
recently
say that
deployed a couple
again?
of rooms.
What?
He wants a full control system.
I want some way to control things to make
So
it
I
easier and
recently
automate. I want it,
deployed
but I don't know if I
and
need it.
Support.
Yeah, and
I
support.
deployed
I
a
think
couple of rooms, which are
that's a secret
are
word.
these are small rooms, and they are scheduled and taught in as seminar rooms, which means it's a conference room for academic purposes. The only thing in there is a big display and a conference bar, and the PC, of course, like God intended.
So is there a camera at the back of the room? Looking forward.
No, there is not. It is
So they
table
struggle.
only,
They
sir.
struggle presenting their thesis in there.
Why are they presenting their thesis in there? Go down the hall to a presentation classroom. This is for seminar rooms. Get out. So
Oh, sorry.
yeah. But with that said, there
Confused the
is no
two.
control
Should
system
have
on
known
these. There's no control system on these because it is a super simple room. It brings cost down.
I have
We're
rooms
able
like
to
this,
do more
too.
of them, and they are wildly successful. People like them because they're like, I walk in, I push the button on the front of the display if it's off, but
And it
usually
just
it's
turns on.
and it just turns on, and then I'm doing my thing.
Everything else is done by the compute.
Next thing you know, they got razor blades
So-
out, cutting buttons off remotes.
You are
no room.
this close to Teams and Zoom room, my friend.
There's
you
no
are
well,
right
so
there.
that
remote
was-
in that room.
Look, that was going to be like, how far are we stretching the idea of control system? Because some of these rooms kits and some of these PC-based things
Not the ones on the list from earlier.
Have
are
controls.
are technically a control system. They're just not what
Well-
we at AV traditionally
Well,
consider
therein
a
lies
control
the
system.
practice here. Can you start to collapse and rethink of those as your budget may
Yeah.
challenge you to do?
And I do think once you start getting outside of there's one display and one cable, yes, a control system. And even in these simple cuddle spaces, I usually have a tiny button panel that's doing something, right? That
So
helps me somehow.
We
Is it a
like
need?
something here.
Yeah, probably. But I want to broaden it past it has to be a Tron.
Yes.
Right.
I want something there for data acquisition. I want something that can feed up into the service desk, something along the. I really, really want that. It can be the display itself. It can be the computer. Yes, exactly. So I'm willing to acknowledge it as we need something that speaks to it. Maybe or maybe not. It's dedicated to hardware and thousands of dollars. Maybe there's simpler ways to go about it, but something in the name of that support and management. Fair?
Yes.
Okay. Moving on.
So student workers.
Standing outside looking in. What are you doing in there?
With their
want an
phones.
input too?
Look, it's not working.
They're pressed against the glass.
That works.
Jesus.
But only for 3 years because their life cycle's done.
And because then Larry kills them.
These next three, I think, are the most the ones that we want. We definitely want as much as we can get of them. Number 15, interactive displays. Need to have them everywhere, right? Ubiquitous. Everywhere you go, every display can be touched and it does something in response.
Is it a
When we say
need?
displays, are we talking about on the instructor station or
Doesn't
on
matter.
the wall the students are looking at? Because I have them everywhere on the
Do
instructor
you have
station.
is an interactive component needed?
I do, because then if it's a hybrid class, they can use the apps and draw and project it on the screen.
So is this lumped into your furniture conversation? If done correctly? If doing
If
it, do
done
it right?
correctly. Yeah.
But Larry, you're talking specifically about the instructor stations.
I'm talking about the instructor
Yeah,
station
so
only.
So
I
your
don't put
delta on
anything
price
the
is very
walls.
low. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Exactly.
we like to
They're
have it
almost
at the
the same
local
cost.
computing device, but not
I don't
necessarily
even do
all
that.
the
Though
displays.
Larry's now got me reminding myself that I should probably start doing that just for the sake of doing it. But people don't use them as much as you think they do. But the cost
They
is so
don't.
low.
They hardly ever use them, but the planars are so cheap to do. Doesn't matter.
So related to the larger monitors, I've been doing a lot of interactive displays just because the pricing I get on those is less than a commercial grade non-interactive. So
You know why? Because it comes
Why?
with Android. So it's
No, it
shit.
doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
Ooh.
Some of them do, but
I
there's
can
some that do
guarantee
not.
you these 60 or so I've deployed recently don't have Android on them. So.
That's good.
All right. Okay, so is this obviously big
Oh, I will
projectors?
say, wait.
Aren't going to do this. Go
Interactive
ahead.
projectors, no.
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 They
Ultra
can
short
cram
throw
it.
No, no, no.
interactive?
It's,
No.
Is
You
there
ever try the
interactive
Xbox controller
components?
with a camera?
Oh, the Kinect
Do
controller.
the whole Connect thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there an interactive component in the classroom needed? I don't care if it's one of those little floor box Dance Revolution things. Is it needed?
Ooh,
Or
that
the
is an
whack-a-mole
interesting
buttons.
concept. Dance Dance Revolution control. The teaching
Whack-a-mole
learning environment.
is not interactive. It is a control
I mean,
system.
you're pretty much you just described Echo 360. Wasn't that like their whole the pressure things where you go and you stand and the whole thing like that wasn't that their whole spiel there for a minute back in the day? Anyway, okay. Next piece, Justin. This screams every single class at WKU: environmental controls, lighting, temperature, ventilation, creating comfortable
Shades.
learning environments, shades, all that. Are we doing that?
No.
QSIS.
And I'm taking it out.
I don't think it's a need.
You want to adjust the lights, you walk over to the wall and you turn a switch on like a human.
Like a human. Okay. So this is probably not.
As
not a
part
need.
of the AV system, no,
the
not.
clear delineation there.
Because here's the problem with it. All I'm doing is recalling presets, right?
Right.
And yet who do they call when they want those presets adjusted? Like you? I don't even just knock it off.
I
Turn on
can't
the
fix
lights.
that. Yeah.
Cross button. Get off my grass. Okay. So probably not. Next one, final one I have on today's list because this list will grow. However, for argument's sake, security and privacy. Now this is not like browser. That's not what I'm talking about. Like access control systems, privacy measures to protect student data, ensure safe learning spaces. This is like FERPA stuff, enforcing that stuff, making sure that they feel comfort. Are we spending anything in the technology realm to kind of speak to that?
Well, besides blasting every one of their courses out into the internet 24/7, I mean, I don't know what.
Say I
else
put a
they want.
sign up that says you may or may not be recorded in this room, so I'm absolved of all
Yeah,
things.
I-
Great.
yes, I do think that is a necessity.
Okay. So
Some
he's acknowledging
security features,
but I'm
whether
ju- I'm
it's through your LMS, whether it's through
Yeah,
access control in
I don't think
certain
this is us.
laboratory spaces. It's not necessarily
maybe
us,
not.
but
Okay. Some people say, hey, if it's in the learning space box, it's your problem. Like that's
I think for us here in the way our institutions are set up, no, it's not. But there are some other institutions where it's part of that lumped in. We do everything, and yes, I think it's important in the learning space.
okay. Chris, did you capture any of that list for us?
Nope.
Damn it. Okay. Which ones
I
do we want
got
to get
all
rid
the
of?
notes. Al,
got 'em all?
Al's got the notes.
Okay. So of those 17 things, which ones do we think we would actually get rid of?
AI.
Al?
Oh, wait, no.
Touch. Anything that's touchy.
The augmented virtual reality nonsense.
Digital signage. Cram it.
Okay.
Digital
Yeah.
signage.
Okay.
Environmental controls.
Yep, that's
That
3.
gone.
Okay.
Security and privacy, I think we all agree is important, but I don't think that's us. So
No.
Okay,
gone.
I can be convinced in that.
same with the, where was that LMS one that was like, that's not me. Adaptive learning technologies. Again,
Yep.
useful, very cool, but not me. So
Not us.
Okay. Adaptive. All right. I mean, how close are we here? We've gotten that's
I don't know.
one,
How many did you cut?
1, 2, 3, 4. We've got 3 more to have to come off this list to get to 10.
Lecture capture.
No.
Ooh. This was
See,
difficult.
and
I think we're
I don't
I
know
am-
if that's a need.
Missing them,
I am
Chris?
dropping bring your own meeting before I drop that.
Bring your own meeting or bring your own device? Are we
Bring your
separating
own
Either
those
way.
meeting. They're
two?
separate.
Oh, interactive.
They're
Yeah, there you go.
separate.
So we're at 5. We got to get 2 more.
I
Oh,
don't-
I agree with
look,
Larry.
I'm saving money. Look at this. This is
Wait.
great.
Wait. I don't know if that automation and
Take
that
it-
control system, that's got to come back, I think.
All right.
No,
Yeah.
no, it doesn't.
I was trying to sneak
Yeah,
that
it
one
does.
past you. guys.
We at WKU can teach without a freaking touch panel, Mark.
You can teach without
I'm not
speakers.
saying you
It doesn't
can't.
mean it's the right way to do it.
I'm not saying you can't. I want it like the broader sense. Like if you, this is like the 80%, 80-20 here. Like if you're taking a today's normal classroom, are you going to deploy it without a control system, without a mechanism for support? Because if so, then we've been doing it way effing wrong
So
for
why
the last
does
years.
a mechanism without support?
Would you put something in there that allows you to pull off the data of usage and
See,
be
we're
able to
not putting
support
those-
things on, off, automation? You're not doing any of that?
We're not pulling any data from these things. The only time we've done that, it was once in a dorm to actually see if people were using cable
I don't
TV
know
or
if
the
you're
HDMI
speaking for the
input.
masses here. I don't.
I know I'm not. I'm just saying I don't.
Justin, you have control systems in dorm restrooms? What?
We have dorm.
Somebody-
yeah, we have
somebody
to
has
put,
to
Not the
monitor that
control
camera,
system,
Chris.
It's the
Yeah.
camera
Yeah.
that
we have displays in public areas in dorms, and they can't have remotes because they're in public areas. So we have to have little button panels there. So we started collecting data to actually see how much they were being used. They're not. They're not. So
We need to get rid of like one more thing here.
We got rid of 6. How many do I need to cut?
7.
7.
Damn it.
We got to get rid of 7 to get down to 10 to give us round numbers.
Okay. Well, sorry. Whatever next one is. Classroom collaboration technologies. You're out of here. I don't know. I would guess, is IMAG next on the list?
yeah.
No.
Take
I
it
think
out.
it's
Lecture capture.
collaborative
Take it out.
technologies.
This
Done.
exercise is easy for me.
You think it's a collaborative? I think it might be the collaborative piece
That's not a standard thing. That's in certain rooms you can do
because
that.
it probably represents the thing that if you're gonna do is gonna swallow up the bulk of the budget right away.
But isn't that
That
the
or
same
high
with,
flex.
with remote teaching, hybrid, high flex, et cetera?
What?
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, maybe it's that. Maybe it's the remote teaching piece that we actually want to pull out of there.
Well,
But the
there,
remote
now I've gotten
teaching-
8 off of there.
The same equipment can do the hybrid, can do lecture capture, can do so many other things where the
not a
collaborative
necessity.
fights
Well-
everything else.
Well, I'll give you if you want to collapse
This is return
lecture
to classroom,
capture
Larry.
and hybrid as one thing, and we're going to deal with it that way, then we've gotten to the goal.
I think we can. It's the same tech.
in my systems, that's how I do it. It's all software. So.
So if we combine those, okay, so then that would leave us with large displays, audio, computer, lecture capture / hybrid teaching, ADA compliancy, image magnification, BYOD, and a control system.
Wait, you moved lecture capture under which?
It's part of hybrid
So-
teaching and remote teaching. They're the same systems.
It's all the same system.
It
Just-
really
it's how
falls
you're
under
deploying it.
hybrid.
Hybrid, yeah.
Because hybrid,
Hybrid
just means you
capabilities.
can do the class later.
Oh,
It
I
works.
broke your formatting.
Fix
Oh
it.
my God, what's happening?
Jesus, what did you do?
What,
So lecture
this
capture
document's all
/
screwed
collab.
up.
You killed my document. I have it in other places.
Trying to copy and paste. Oh, it's worse. What is happening?
And
Oh
this
my
is why
God.
collaboration technology is unnecessary.
So for today's exercise, we did get down to 10 that we think are probably the most useful. I don't know if we would have enough time to actually categorize them to come away
Oh
with
my
an
God.
actual. Yeah, so you saw how.
If we had to break this up into $100 bill, we're going to be here for hours.
Right. Well, I want you to think about it. Maybe we'll revisit this. Maybe we'll work on this offline. We'll share that as an update in the future, what it may look like. And just think about it. And if you have ideas based on those 10 again, we'll post them in the show notes. If you think you could take a stab at how you would prioritize those capabilities from a round percentage number, I'm curious. And does it reflect what you actually spend on your classroom?
I think that's a really interesting thought because you could probably say there's a disproportionate amount of money spent on a control system and not on. So This is an
It
interesting.
may not
panoramic
reflect.
panels.
It may not reflect the market. However, it may give us insight of what we actually value.
I think that's the key. The market is different in that the document camera doesn't cost anything, so I don't spend a lot on it, but it's probably more important than. Actually, it's not more important.
Larry
Now
Says
Larry's
who?
arguing with
Yeah.
himself.
Sorry, there's a phone call coming in, so I'm muting.
distracted.
Well, okay. Well, let's take a break. We'll marinate on this one, and then we'll come back. We'll revisit this. And I'm curious if anybody does have any thoughts on that exercise. And was there any glaring holes in this list that we did not actually bring up? We want to hear those.
Students. Those are pretty important.
Also. Yeah, it's
Student
debatable.
workers or students?
Somebody did ask, what do you need
audience.
to deliver? And I did say a well-trained instructor. At one point, I do believe a well-trained. So training, though I'm not sure we spend on that in the standard, I think is very important. Documentation goes a long way.
Yeah, instructional designers.
All right.
Let's
Anyway.
take a break, and then you can listen to a message about a very important technology you should all be implementing in your spaces at the top of the list.
Stop fighting a tangled web of Ethernet cables and power cords to PoE injectors. Are you sick of your network switches failing to provide enough power when you need them most? Well, buckle up, folks, because we've got something that will blow your socks off. Introducing the latest innovation from the brilliant minds who couldn't quite make it in the world of audio engineering. That's right, we're talking about gain sharing PoE, the game changer in network switch technology by Independent Amalgamated. Imagine a network switch that not only delivers power over Ethernet, but also dynamically adjusts power distribution based on the needs of all the connected devices. Say goodbye to underpowered devices and hello to maximum efficiency. How does it work, you ask? Well, we've taken our expertise in microphone mixing and digital signal processing and applied it to create a revolutionary power distribution system. With gain-sharing PoE, the fewer devices you have connected, the more power each device gets. It's like a power party where everyone gets VIP treatment. And get this, folks, our patented Surge Amp technology ensures that power is available to your devices at lightning speed, with just a few milliseconds of delay. It's like magic, but better. So, if you're ready to take your network to the next level, look no further than our advanced managed network switch featuring gain-sharing PoE. Because when it comes to power, we've got you covered. Visit our website or call now to get your hands on this cutting-edge technology before it's too late. Don't wait. Upgrade today and join the power revolution. Gain-sharing PoE from Independent Amalgamated.
I send 100 watts to all my cameras.
This is the most spooky one we have, I think, out of all the ones we made. That one freaks me out the most. Anyway.
Because it might almost be real.
So yeah, you're like, wait, isn't that just what PoE does? I don't know. Now I'm confused. Okay.
All
What the hell are we
right,
talking
so last one here was kind of more of a question, and I think we phrased this as PCs living on the same VLAN as our AV gear, and why can't we do that, or can we do that, and if we do that, what are the pros, what are the cons, and why is this always such a contentious topic? And then Jamie has a solution so it doesn't need to ever come up ever again.
I want to say, I have a dream of all this stuff living on one happy VLAN. Not
do
there
not.
yet. Really? Oh, wow. Well, I do. So I would love to unlock the potential of all my stuff being able to communicate with one another and not need outboard widgets to create the connection betwixt those two devices.
Yep.
I'd love to unlock the full application level potential of a teaching and learning space with my compute in there as connected to all my peripherals. Would love it. That is not USB.
I am in support of.
So
I guess the network architecture of that, whether it's on a VLAN segment, doesn't matter, as long as it can
You just have a
cross
stroke?
said boundaries.
yeah, I guess you could architect, but is there a definitive need to have these VLAN barriers at this point? In this modern day and era, in the classroom we just designed, because we all agree we need a computer in there, does it need to be on its own separate VLAN?
From what? From like we're talking VLANs and
I'm not saying how it is today. Does it need to be that way? I believe this is a legacy-based thought process that has got us
No.
here, and we're just
I mean,
fighting it. And I don't want
feel like this
to
is
me
a
the
trick
answer.
question.
The answer is not. Well, I don't control the PCs. That's not the question. That's not what I'm
I do
asking.
control the PCs.
Yeah.
I don't control the network.
the-
This isn't the hill I want to die on.
but it doesn't need to be on a separate VLAN. For what reason?
No, it doesn't, but it It's not on the same.
Is it more often than not on a separate VLAN?
More often than not, I think it is a legacy thing, and I think it is due
Yeah.
to organizational structure and different groups managing it. Like I'm imaging my computers, and I affect AV systems or whatever, and
If
I
I
think
plug
it's
up,
where a lot of it comes from.
if I plug up a computer
Isolationist.
to the network in a classroom, and then I start plugging up AV devices to that same network, it's all going to be on the same VLAN. Like there's no
Right.
separation for us, but we
Mine
take
you
will
do that now?
AV
for a couple
devices
of seconds.
offline.
For a couple seconds. It'll work once.
So I have separate VLANs for all the above.
And I think
And
that
yet,
that is what I think a lot.
I-
That's like if I had to make a bet, that's what things look like at large.
Yeah,
Is that you have
and
computers
some
on
of it's-
VLANs, you have machines on others. Like
Some of
different-
it's
appliances.
it's purely managerial, right? So with the AV VLAN, now I can use any computer and get to this devices within the AV VLAN area, right? They are trunked, they are connected. It's the enterprise, right? We can communicate, we can get specific things, right? But the computers, as they connect, they're on their own deals. So the telephones are on theirs, and this is on theirs, right? But
time for this. Okay.
yeah, I would love to have the application layer of all of our stuff. I would love to be able to use a single network port on a computer and get the video and audio ins
Yeah.
and outs.
Isn't that like the
and
dream?
I would be really close, but it's all again, we're back to this management thing. It's
Right.
whether it's PC management, whether it's security management, whether it's something blah blah blah. Doesn't matter. Management. It's just like your wireless network in your is usually a different VLAN. However, it has access to all the same crap that
Not through
Your
access
wireless-
at all, so.
so when you personally through
Because of-
management
because I'm in a
you
special
can log
bucket.
into the wireless and connect to all that. So it's now
I
a
cannot.
management issue, not
I can, you can't.
Is this a fear-based decision? We are afraid of people being able to get into our devices and cause malicious things to happen.
I think
Well,
for
I'm-
me
we're
it's
not
Getting
for-
the
scared.
devices, I think as much as interrupting, in my case anyway, it's interrupting the experience. If someone,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
all of a sudden all the Dante mics go down because there's some sort of spurious traffic coming from the PC or something.
Now
think it's
there
zero
was
trust,
guidance.
too.
Yeah, there was guidance back in the day where the Trons of the world said, "Oh, we recommend a wholesale separated, isolated VLAN so that we're not having traffic crossing.
Yeah.
The streams were not crossing." And that was old guidance. Do we still live in that world?
yes.
I don't know if we ever lived in that world.
Like it was in
And
like
the
their
world's
training
no.
classes. They recommended their AV control and management be a wholesale separate VLAN immune to
No.
traffic that's going on in your network.
And the irony here is that I did it for the other reason. Is it's like I did it because I'm using JPEG 2000 and I'm using Dante and I'm using A67 and it's pretty well contained with all the multicast protocols within its VLAN.
Now you're talking multicast. Mark was talking control traffic.
Yeah, I
Like,
think
I
that
was
the statement
segregating
still
the
stands.
AV traffic.
Yeah, AV traffic.
AV
yeah.
traffic.
All
so this
AV
way,
traffic?
All of it,
Potentially.
Justin. Yeah, every bit of it.
So
Could we
that's
not
all
live
there.
in a happy world
Control
together?
traffic we put on the network all the time.
Yeah,
but
I know. But on a separate
not
VLAN,
the
or on the
media.
same VLAN that your PCs are managed on.
Yeah, but not the media.
Okay. Why
So,
not?
but I separate it more so that my
'Cause the-
accidental crap from my AV devices
Jamie's the
doesn't
problem.
blow up somebody's. Because some of our stuff use jumbo frames, and some older computers and printers hate those, and they will just absolutely puke all over their own shoes. So we have it separated that way. Now we can access all of it through our enterprise network with the right credentials and management, correct?
Yeah.
But they don't technically live on the same VLAN. They're on the same enterprise network, but segmented in management in a way to isolate the stupid traffic from the computer traffic.
Non-mature traffic. We don't want that stuff getting over here.
Exactly.
I mean, we've had the conversation with our network core team, and they're like, nothing you're using is so bandwidth heavy that we can't support it on our backplanes. We have like massive backplanes, so it's not
No,
a traffic
that's why I
issue.
do it.
Like
Yeah.
it's not.
Yeah,
that.
but
and so
it is a QoS issue because to Jamie's
Yes.
earlier comment about say like printers or something. If my control traffic and printer traffic interrupts each other, it's not really causing a problem because that button press on my touch
They'll
panel.
figure
that
it
equipment-
out, right?
Yeah.
Well,
It'll get
it-
there.
It gets there 27 milliseconds later, whatever.
Right.
But
Who
if it's a
cares?
video stream, if it's an audio stream, that can start to cause problems. And that's,
yeah, I think
that's-
when you get into the QoS application, I think it does change because
That's-
And
a
to
lot
your
of them
point-
don't want to do that QoS.
and I think
piece.
that's why the things get segmented because it's easier to manage manage that at that point to say, I'm going to manage this stuff completely separately. You don't have to worry about it.
It's all a management issue. It's not necessarily a technology issue. And I separate it now for management. That's why I separate it. And I control the IP addresses in this area, and I can do these things. But it's all in the enterprise.
Yeah.
I could do this. I just don't.
Do we need to start thinking more about it to do what we kind of started off with, to unlock that application layer that we're trying to get to in our service? Is the world that's architected on the benches of all these manufacturers a commingled world?
No, I don't think. I think they're still.
You think they're still
manufacturing?
segmented?
They're still manufacturing to an island world. Not necessarily islands,
Absolutely
but into.
they are, yeah.
That,
Well,
but
Justin,
everything
you shared that document the other day from a consultant asking, or a programmer asking, what are the static addresses we're setting all these devices up on? It's just like, well, that's
So
you're
stupid.
already off on the wrong foot. So.
Yeah. Like I'm not
Well, it's reserved addresses, but whatever. Okay.
entertaining that.
Yeah. So interesting. But so that being said, we still have some need to get traffic from one of these segments to another. And we're starting to see some creative ways to do that. And Jamie, you've had some experience with the one we were toying around at the beginning of the show that's allowing us to kind of bridge those things to get more of that application layer experience, but with a widget.
Yeah, and so this is one of the things I've been wrestling with. Like, one of the reasons I went with NDI 7 years ago, I did a whole building install with all NDI everywhere. Because I saw that, well, the NDI desktop application, it's for Windows, it's for Mac, it's for Linux. Awesome. We could truly get a video and audio feed in and out of a network port to all these displays and not have to have a bunch of interconnectivities. Now,
Kinda, yeah.
I'll forget the admin thing. We'll forget the server thing. We'll forget the multicast thing. We'll forget all that.
So now you can just
But
bring
okay.
the touch panel up on your computer, and now everything could just be controlled from the computer.
well, I've got to be honest. What I was trying to get away from was Zoom, because at the time,
Wait a minute.
Zoom kind of worked, but it had you didn't have as crisp of images, and sharing was kind of a pain in the ass, and you had some connection, and there was still licensing. This was prior to the bulk licensing of COVID, right? This was before
Prior
that.
to the normalization of Zoom as Kleenex.
Yes, and what I really wanted was in my programs that basically from the computer and from the cameras directly, they just shot the NDI stream directly to the computer of the other place. And you had full bandwidth NDI images of everything. And it's what, 120 megs on a 10
When you experience
gig
that NDI
backplane?
of that first time, you're like, wow, this is going to change everything. And then you're like, wait a minute.
You know,
Then you start
so
skimming
I got
NDI,
it.
and it's like
No.
Well, I got it mostly working. You know, the horrible
mostly
part.
working.
Well, yeah, I can't get it straight in and out of a computer for
that-
management reasons.
For management reasons, right? For all the stuff we just talked
I'm still
about.
blasting it everywhere, and I could actually
Nobody's subscribing
today.
to it, but man, I'm flooding the network with that shit.
Oh, it's everywhere.
God.
Um,
Ridiculous.
Edge repeaters just
ridiculous.
blowing NTI everywhere.
Look,
No, I'm with you. I mean,
you guys
it's
just
elegant.
keep making fun of me, but
I'm
it's
making
working.
fun with you, Jamie. It's different.
No, all you doubters and haters out there. Just because I didn't have some write up in some newspaper somewhere, but newspaper, what is that? But one of the things is getting it on and off the application layer, Mark. That was the problem.
Exactly.
I could get the multicasting to work. I could get it restricted down into particular network segments. I could make all of it happen, except I couldn't get in and out directly of the computer.
Yeah.
Fine. So now I had to have a decoder and then some
myself
sort
somewhere
of
else.
HDMI to USB capture device.
Yeah,
I
and
did
this
two
was
little widget towns.
The stream to switch to UVC.
So we've been bitching and moaning on the show for a long time about, I just want to be able to pull RTSP or NDI or SRT or something, Dante AV, I don't give whatever. I want to pull that off and go directly to UVC device, directly to USB. Why can't we do this?
And no, the answer is not. Somebody says, well, you could just open OBS and you could just bring it. No, that's not the answer. I'm
Again,
not running OBS on my
Teach
computer.
faculty
Application
to do that.
level setup. It's profile based, so you have to reset it up for every single. It's
Not saying you
shut
can't
up.
do it. We're not doing it. Yeah.
We're not doing it.
at scale. Right.
I talked Lumens into sending me a demo of one of their decoders. They have this whole AV over IP like substructure to their thing. I'm like, I don't really want any of the I don't want any of the crap. I want the decoder because it takes those streams and creates directly a UVC stream.
Yeah.
And I was doubtful at first, and I'll be damned it's working.
But they have it as an encoder and a decoder.
So they have an encoder
yeah.
also.
But
I'm
no
just
one knows
using the
why.
decoder, but it pulls NDI off, makes it
Well,
right into
they did send out
UVC.
something today on that product. It went out, and there was some publicity around it. And I laughed because I thought of you when I was reading. I was like, this has to be Jamie's widget. And then looked at the schematic, and I was like, what in the hell's going on here?
Yeah,
I couldn't even
actually,
follow what was happening.
I'm more interested in trying their other stuff now, and I think we might even have a discussion with them because it is lumens. So I use a lot of their document cameras and things, but it's not what you necessarily always think of as being the
Well,
market leaders of anything. But
that's the disruptor potential here.
I think so, and I think at least the thought, and I want to talk to some of their engineers that says, okay, you're doing the things that everybody kind of thinks they want, and by God, you're actually doing it. Yeah. Now, there's some firmware quirks that I think they could fix, and there's some other things, but my 4-hour impression of it today is, by God, it works.
Well, update on this.
So, Jamie, could you spend a few minutes describing the box that looks good, and it seems to work well? And
Do we have that? We had the PDF, do we not?
I'm just looking for some very high level kind of analysis of this that doesn't get into the details of the technology at all.
It's a box.
It's a tiny box.
It's got a network
Plug
port
cables
and a
in.
USB-C on it.
Is it gray or silver?
You know, hold on a second. Just whoa.
Talk us through it.
Give me a moment.
So when you talk to
whole thing
lumens,
is
though, weren't they like, oh, you mean you're going to use it for that? Like, why would you do that? Wasn't there a discussion that you had with lumens that they didn't really know what they had?
Oh,
Yeah. Looks
Right?
like every other little
Black
black box
box.
like that. Yeah.
It's just a little black box. Has network cable on.
Would you say
Chris,
the
you're gonna-
construction is the type that we would
Steel.
expect from lumens?
No, it's steel with quarter 20
Is that a quarter 20 on it?
on
That's
two
too much
sides.
detail. Back it off a bit. Too much detail.
Quarter 20 everywhere. USB-C
Bolted to the
to the
ceiling.
computer. It's PoE enabled. It's just the typical black box you would expect from an AV over IP thing.
Is it USB-C powered by chance? Also
Yes.
as PoE. So
Well,
you can,
well, hold on. I don't know. It has the power. It has the power outlet next to the USB-C. Has a power outlet next to the USB-C thing.
okay.
Is
Oh,
it-
so
But
it's
I don't know if that
so you can charge
provides.
your phone.
Yeah,
you can
yeah.
charge
I don't
your
know if
phone
it
off
provides
that.
power or
Yeah,
can
yeah.
be powered by power, because when I plugged it in, I have a PoE switch, so it just fired right up. As a simultaneous HDMI out. Look, I'm not yet ready to say that this is the second coming, but I think they're on the right track. And to Justin's point, question a minute ago, when I called them and I started asking about this, they're like, oh, wait, what are you doing?
How'd you get this?
Because they wanted to sell me the AV over IP. They wanted to sell
they
me,
just wanted
and
Of course they did.
they wanted to sell me that this was the Dante AV version. And they're like, oh, don't you want this to be encoder and decoder? I said, no, I just want the decoder. Can it work independently? And they went, why? And when I told
So I
them,
can
I
use
said,
it. Yeah.
I have NDI cameras everywhere. And I now have to buy little widgets, in my case from Magwell, right? That decodes the NDI into some kind of baseband to convert it into USB. I said, I don't want to skip all that bullshit. I just want to go right in the computer with UVC. And they said, well, yeah, of course. The other part about it,
They went back and
Is-
scrambled and just like, just ship it to him. Just ship it. Get him now.
Rewrite the marketing.
if you
Yes.
if you use their encoder and not connected to a camera, just connected to something else, it also ingests whatever other video feed into it. So it's now a capture device for other things.
Correct. And I think that was a really and that's what made the schematic so funny when I went through their little room diagram, because it's both directions for these things, and you're like, what am I looking at? And it's all in a circle, and it comes back, and I'm just like, I can't even track this.
So I got the demo for one purpose only, and the
needed a new
website is a
coaster,
normal website. I wanted to see if it did my one thing, my one particular item, and it did that.
Okay.
And it has a control API that I'm trying to work my way through, but haven't had that much time yet.
Yep.
But now I'm interested in more. And we'll see what happens. And I think we might want to talk to him, because I'm curious on if they really are implementing USB-C and Dante AV the way that they say they are, and the way that I have experienced so far with just the NDI version, I think some of the other manufacturers need to be on note, because this box...
It's a good step in the right direction.
This box was actually as affordable and less so than some of the other ones that I'm purchasing to try to do the same thing.
Yeah, so
And we are not sponsored by Lumens, by the way.
No,
So
we are not.
We're always looking for these things that solve these problems. We just talked about that whole VLAN traversal and having to get out of that. So this is an affordable element that allows us to address those problems to unlock that application layer experience. What you're doing, I think it's awesome. I think it not having to be one of the big Trons or one of the big players and a disruptor who's willing to take a chance on a product to deliver something that people actually need. So I think it's awesome to see it. So.
Yeah, more to come on that. Maybe even some discussion with their engineers. But so far, 4 hours in, let's see what happens.
We'll see what happens next week, though. All right.
Although I just unplugged it, so now I got to restart the counter.
Yeah, the whole thing is going to collapse. So, well,
It's a one-time use.
we get it.
throwaway.
Probably priced and such that it's not terrible to do that. All right, well, we're way over, so appreciate everyone sticking around for us here. We will have some more follow up from Jamie on this and all that fun stuff. And we're also going to revisit the $100 conversation, because Mark still owes me $100 for this, because I'm not.
Well, I'm waiting for the people underneath you to send you theirs. Then you'll be fine. We'll be even.
Yeah, so everyone send me $100, and I will send some of that to Mark, and then we can have
We have a donation tab. Just go ahead and send your $100 in there.
That's
make
called
sure it's spent correctly.
multi-level marketing.
Nope. Reverse funnel system.
Funnel plan. Stick to it. All right. See you guys.
Well, we've managed to ruin yet another episode of AV SuperFriends Off the Rails. You can contact us with questions, topic ideas, or general complaints at mailbag@avsuperfriends.com. If you complain loud enough, we might just invite you on the show.
Nice work, everyone. Sharp broadcast. Really good. Everyone on the floor as well. Really a lot of hustle. I liked it.
The opinions expressed by the AV SuperFriends are solely those of the individuals and do not represent their respective institutions, organizations, companies, or clients.